fast as they used to in the last 10 years. But there's 3 4-year colleges and a military base right there.
Nice. Okay. Do you see the right now with the residents that are at the complex, do you see a large majority one way or another like serving the student population or the military population?
Yeah, it just depends on the location of the properties, but yeah, there's the properties that I've been looking at. You can definitely tell the ones that are closer to the campuses, they're
Mhm.
more college kids, and then you get out on the edge of town towards the base, and they're more military families.
Okay. Yeah, those are always interesting. Really being plugged in and getting that lower level information, understanding like the decisions that like the colleges are making in regards to like student housing. I know Dr. Joel, we've talked multiple times of like, for instance, with Tuskegee University, with them having an on-campus housing challenge for incoming students, and so they're looking to partner with landlords in the area for housing. But at the same time, I've looked at a deal in South Carolina where there was it was a conversion of a previous hotel that was provided student housing, but they only had 2 years remaining on their contract, and there was active construction happening on campus and it was going to be mandatory for freshmen to have to live in the new housing on campus, which of course would impact the demand for the housing, for that property. So it's something you want to pay attention to with new construction and what this university is doing, and having some insight on how they're swaying. And the same thing with the military as well too. Are they looking for more initiatives to push military members off base, or do they have active construction projects on base where they want to provide more on base housing for military members? So just kind of understanding how that dynamic and partnership with the university and with the military in the local area will help you kind of make some really good long-term investment decisions, just understanding how they're positioning themselves so you can kind of align with the expectations, because they bring a lot of sway to the economy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the major college, they actually don't have any more room to expand, and their student
Mm,
population is growing. And then the other two, a 3-year college or 4-year colleges, they don't have student housing on campus at all, and so they partner.
mm.
Both of them partner with local landlords.
Okay, perfect, perfect.
And then as far as the military base goes, um, I'm not real tuned into that yet. I'm getting there, but I'm not real tuned into that yet.
Okay. Yeah, no, as long as you're kind of keeping the pulse on everything that's going on, you'll be in great shape.
How are
Yep.
you doing?
How does that work, Johnny? I'm curious. So, when you partner with the military bases housing, you get same like Section 8, they get paid. How does that work?
So great question. So all the military members receive um, a tax-free stipend for housing,
Mm.
BAH, uh, basic assistance for housing, and so it's tax-free. And so if you stay on base, they take 100% of that amount, or if you stay off base, you receive that stipend, and now you can go find housing on the economy, whether you choose to buy or rent. But a lot of times, so
Mm.
like with the housing office, for instance, with the properties I have in Montgomery, and there's a base there, of course. And so with that, they can't offer you as like a preferred housing um, authority per se, or landlord. But what they can do, they can put your property on whiteboard when people come in and see it. Just because they have to have their housing laws, they can't just move. They can't sway people to go rent from one specific landlord. But you can have your listing up inside the housing office where they can share it, and things like that. Where you just let them know, hey, we're a military friendly landlord, and we love to have military members live on our property. And so really just building that relationship at that level, and of course, military people looking for housing, a lot of times they're looking online first, just because they're moving from out of state into the local area. So they're looking at things like apartment.com if they're looking for an apartment, or Zillow, looking for listings, some of, Redfin. So a lot of those areas that they frequent, there's a website, military for sale by owner, or they have one for rent as
Mm.
well too, where military members can rent their properties to other military members. So it's things like that that you just want to get plugged in, that it makes sense to maybe have your listing on some of those groups. And there's a lot of Facebook groups as well too that's dedicated with like housing for the local area. So find like local based housing Facebook group in your area and post and share there as well too. That a lot of them will look at and use those resources.
And another thing with renting to military, I seen this on one building we were looking at, is on the application there's a spot for their commander's name and phone number, and if they don't pay their rent, you can talk to their commander, and then yeah, the life doesn't look too pretty for them.
Yep, 100%. Yep, that's another added advantage, and why a lot of times you don't have a lot of military members who don't pay their rent, just because there's other ramifications at work and pain that they have to go through. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
seriously?
oh yeah,
Wow. That's interesting.
As opposed to student housing, but a lot of people I understand will put their parents on the lease with student housing to make sure there's some responsible person.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah. Makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. It brings its own set of challenges on that
Right.
side because you got college kids with probably no active income, and
And
Well, that's
local
a time of, the age where you're actually exploring a lot of things. So sometimes the housing is not really a priority.
right, yeah, they haven't really thought about their responsibilities and money management and trying to figure all that out on the fly.
Exactly. All right. Glad to see Antonetta in here, and Christine and Adam, Earl and Jay. You wanna Okay, let's go ahead and Dr. Joel, give us an update on the closing that you had yesterday. Was
a
it
week ago.
yesterday? A
A
week
week
ago.
ago. Yeah,
Feels like
it went
yesterday.
without a hitch. The family showed up with check in hand, and they were glad to get a home of their own. They were they were not very credit worthy, but they were hard workers, and they had a couple challenges with their credit in the past. But I felt like they were sincere and they were capable. They're employed, and they have a new young family, 8-year-old, 3-year-old, and 1-year-old. And the guy said, I just want a chance to put a roof over my family's head. And he contacted me every day. He stayed in contact, and he followed through with everything I asked for, sending me everything that he had and everything he planned on doing, and wife certificate, and he was just very good to work with. So I felt good about him. So we got him in. Didn't have the down payment, but he could pay extra to pay on the down payment. He signed a 4-year lease option agreement where he'll lease for 4 years, and then we'll give him a contract for deed for another 28 years or so. And yeah, he's willing to fix anything that needed fixing, and just had a good attitude. So I feel good about it. And this was a house that I came in with zero cost to acquire, and just had to do the repairs on it. Put about 23,000 repairs on it. So yeah, now I'm going to hopefully cash flow and like I said, provide a home for somebody that wouldn't be able to go and get a bank loan. And on to the next one. I have one that we're finishing up repairs on, and hopefully be putting somebody in that one in the next few weeks here in Montgomery.
This is a new one or like the other?
Now this one that I actually closed on last summer, but it had a tenant
Oh
in
yeah.
there until the end of February. So
Mm.
we've been turning that one over, doing renovations, putting the roof and some other stuff on that one. This is one
Nice.
I acquired from one of my patients. She had a 2.2% interest rate on it. That's why I wanted to buy it. I'm like, are you kidding? Yeah. So we did a creative finance deal with her. I'll pay her some of her equity over 4 years, take over her payments to the bank, and yeah, put somebody else in there. Um, Again, they need some affordable housing and do creative financing with them as well.
Yep, that's one of the sweetest deal we heard, the 2.2%.
Yeah,
Glad
yeah,
glad to hear that, we're already putting someone there with the updates and everything. And just
right.
so for, for those that are listening and not also familiar with Dr. Joe, you're still doing full-time
Oh yeah,
job.
yeah,
Oh yeah. All right, just putting it out there, you know, in case we're having some excuses and reminding myself too, like, if Dr. Joe can actually do all of this while being on a 9 to 5 job, why can't you? Like, why can't I, right? So thank you so much, Dr. Joe. Let's
thank you.
have um let's see. I know Jay. We'll give some time for Jay to actually talk about that land opportunity because I wasn't able to review it too. I'll save you for last, Jay. Let's see. Earl, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, glad to hear from you. Glad you're here. How are you,
Okay.
Earl?
Oh, it's been a long journey. I'm finally back 100%. I've had some get myself back from rehabilitation from a car accident and trying to get back in the flow of things.
Hmm.
And I really need to set up a consultation with Johnny to see what direction I really want to go in. Because I've been debating on whether it's fix or flip or multifamily. But I have to decide something soon to take action.
Oh, definitely go ahead and do that. I'll drop the link so you can schedule a time of call
Okay.
um with Johnny. And there you go. You're already in school, Earl, right?
No, no, no. I'm not in school. No.
Not yet. I
Oh
mean
no, no,
school,
no.
the
SKOOL for the
I
community.
mean
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm in the community. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I would say Earl. So kind of where you at? What's your ultimate goal? When I hear you going back between the fix and flip and the multifamily, is like passive income your ultimate strategy or generating additional income? What are you kind of thinking is the number one priority?
Passive income.
Okay, okay.
I just left my before the accident. I had just walked away from my full time job because they was on the verge of laying off, and the stock had tremendously fell from $60 a share down to $6.
Mm,
Less than 30 days, and it was like, there ain't gonna be no more future in that place of employment.
right.
So I had to look out for me and say, you know, I'm, hustling with Amazon, but I want more passive income so I could cut that loose.
Yeah. Yeah, the so kind of you're looking at now, kind of next step. Are you looking as you recover, kind of get into another kind of job opportunity and then work multifamily as a side job, or are you kind of looking? I'm all in on the real estate
All
front.
in, turn it to the full time, all in.
Okay.
I'm excited. I'm excited to, how we can help you on that. I sent you
Yeah.
the link on in the REIG's community in school,
Okay.
Earl. I have to put it out there like that. So you schedule a time with Johnny.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
love to kind of go through and yeah, and put a couple of things, ideas together on strategies on kind of getting the deal flow and kind of thinking through each piece of it where you can kind of start assessing where you are right now for yourself and then looking for where you need to outsource in regards to, for its deal flow, the management side, the capital that's required for the deal, all of those things to kind of start putting your mind or wrapping your mind around it to see where you are right now from a resource perspective, and then looking, where you need to find that additional skill set and help to kind of round out your team and kind of go from there. What market are you thinking about?
Or here in my backyard, here in the Raleigh, North Carolina area.
Okay. Yeah, strong market. Just trying to think. What's some of the kind of tertiary kind of out 30 miles outside Raleigh? Some of those areas. Because I know you're right there in the triad there.
The triangle is Cary, Wake Forest, Garner,
Okay.
Chapel Hill, Durham.
Okay. That whole metro area. Okay.
They building everywhere, but no tenants. I don't get it.
You said they're building, you said no tenants, or are
Yeah,
they
they
having
building.
issues?
I mean, they building a lot of subdivisions. Some have slowed down, but due to the housing prices, a lot of people, as you stated, they're renting now.
Right. That's an interesting dynamic. Yeah, because that area has definitely been popular. Just North Carolina, South Carolina, with a lot of the tax laws, they've been attracting a lot of business. I know in that area, the new Apple headquarters is under construction, like over $1 billion project there, development for the new Apple headquarters is in
Yeah,
that area.
Google coming too.
Right. And so that's an interesting area to be just because of all the new construction. Interest rates higher for longer, they're what they're projecting right now. We'll see if we go into recession, they may come down. But right now, everyone's looking for affordability and choosing to rent. And so I think there is definitely an opportunity and really looking, and one, relationships are going to be critical with being able to access those potential deals just because there's been such a huge run up in the area with being able to get on the short list for some of the brokers. But I think, being able to invest in your marketing where you can, set up a simple postcard campaign, have your cell phone number on there where they call you directly. And there's some different ways you can do that with the messaging to reach out to them, but going directly, pulling data, list for all the owners who own a multifamily that's 40 units or below, for instance, or whatever your criteria. You may want to start at 10 units below, and it may be 300 owners, and start marketing to those 300 owners. Or, and you may want to widen your net to maybe 3 or 4 hour vicinity of there to get a deal. When you start getting out, what is it, Asheville, you got Fayetteville, you got some different areas that are, maybe a little bit more affordable. Because I think right now affordability is the name of the game in real estate. Just where is that it's just taking longer for people to come in and pay higher rents, and it's taking longer to sell these higher price homes.
It is.
So I think, tremendous opportunity. And but it's, having the right strategy and then really just the day-to-day execution.
Okay.
Yeah, so no, let's definitely hop on the call.
Okay. We can do that.
All right.
North Carolina. Let's bring on Christine. Christine, hi.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, glad to see you again. Are you on that market too, if I can remember it right? And are you in North Carolina too?
I am Winston-Salem, Greensboro, High Point, that area up there. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Any
Yeah.
updates? What's going
Yes,
on?
I actually came across I came across my desk. My agent sent it yesterday. Deal for 26 units in Ohio, in Dayton, Ohio. Actually,
Okay.
it's Clayton, maybe about 15 minutes outside of Dayton, north of Trotwood. And running the numbers for that now.
Okay.
And to see if it'll cash flow day one, or if I have to put, to raise put value, push the value to raise the rents, to be able to raise the rents, fix up.
Right.
Um, So I may get an appointment with you on this one because I want to get it under contract ASAP. They're asking too much for it. So in my opinion, and in my
Okay.
real estate agent's opinion as well. But you know,
What's the price per door, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't know. I haven't
Okay.
even
Okay, you hadn't dug in.
right. I know it'll
Oh,
after the expenses and everything, it'll cash flow about 30,000 a year.
Okay.
gotcha. Well, no, with the price per door, just take the asking price that they have, and then just divide it by how many units you have, and then
Okay.
that'll let you know kind of price per unit, and that'll just kind of give you a range and kind of like, okay, we know Dayton kind of from affordable perspective,
Mhm.
and then you can look at your rents that kind of do a comparison of what they're asking. And then really
Okay.
looking at how much renovation you have to do, factor that in, and your
Okay.
down payments, and then now you can kind of back into the math on what you can offer and pay just based off interest rates and how much money uh, you're going to have to put into the deal to renovate to get the market rent.
Okay. Okay. And
You,
that's another thing is raising capital for the deal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to ask you that question. Are you
Yeah.
open to like are you open to like having people, be part of the deal? Like LPs, GPs,
Oh,
sorry, limited
definitely.
partners, okay.
Uh-huh.
General partners.
Definitely.
Okay.
Right. I was gonna open it up to friends and family and actually in the groups, different groups and everything. But
Okay.
I don't know, this would be my first deal
Yeah, no, the first part
over
is
six
definitely.
digits.
Yeah, the first deal is really you want to get it under. You want to do that analysis and get it under contract at the right price ASAP. Because the last thing you want to do is somebody else to come in and get it tied up and get it under contract.
Right.
So
Definitely. So yep.
Speed. Speed. Speed is the
yeah,
key.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, maybe get it under contract, but that's the thing so uh I'll probably be talking to you. I'll probably reach out to you to see if we can work something out.
yeah, no, so definitely sooner rather than later.
Okay. Thank
Yep, yep.
Awesome.
Is that hesitancy I hear in your voice?
you. It
How you
is
feel it?
because
It is okay.
it is
Let's
because
unpack it.
I am not going to deny myself. So in the past, I would say, "Oh, that's too much. Let's go on to something else." But this time, no, I'm going to go for it. With the knowledge that I have of the limited knowledge of reaching out to people, saying, "Hey, you want to invest? You want to go in on this deal? You want to um, do this and see if I can't." Then in the contract, I'm going to have to put in some, a way out based on financing or something like that, um, so that I don't lose my earnest money. But uh, yeah, that I guess that's the hesitancy is um
Yeah, not knowing. Yeah, there's a lot of different moving pieces. Faye, definitely send her the checklist to kind of go through
I
with that,
will.
and then we definitely need to talk and kind of look at the numbers and kind of
okay.
assess what's the right price
Yep.
Okay.
that you need to be paying. Yeah, that's step one. Before, don't even start stressing and worrying about raising the capital and all that. You got to make sure
Right.
that you got a good deal and that they're willing
Yeah.
to accept the offer price on it. So.
Oh,
Also,
got you.
Christine, if you
Okay.
if you could whisper me the address, just send me a DM, and then I can pull up some
Okay.
details on the back and see how what we can see on the back end of that property to, you know, to verify the information that you have is right.
Okay. Okay.
Just
Will
whisper
do.
it.
Okay. Thank you.
Good stuff. No, that's exciting.
Yes, we're super excited for you, Christine.
Thank you.
We're gonna let you borrow the confidence, borrow confidence from
Okay,
everyone in the
thank you.
group.
Oh, perfect. How you?
All
Okay.
right, let's
Yeah,
Adam. Adam, can you hear us?
I can. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
2 of the 3 kids are out of the house. So a little bit. Let's see. In the last week, been working with Christine a little bit on what solar on one of her properties would look like. Waiting on. I sent her essentially some broad concepts, some design thoughts, and then when we find out kind of like what the like, then we can start putting an actual like solar design down on top of that property and take a look at what that. And then a couple of days ago, we put down our bid on our first investment tax credit. That's kind of a secondary portion of our business that we're exploring. Is when you right now, and we'll see what legislation happens, after 2025. But when you invest in solar, you can sell those tax credits on the market, and the small market is pretty illiquid, leaving some pretty interesting opportunities. And essentially, the people that have been utilizing this the most have been corporations. And then passive investors and stuff like that. So obviously, real estate, people with passive income, taxable passive income. So we are investing in some of those as we also try to gather investors and stuff like that. So if you've got, essentially passive income greater than, your income minus cost minus depreciation type of stuff, we are bundling some of those things, aiming for 10% returns annually on those. So like I said, we just put our bid on our first one, and there's a lot of stuff over 2024 and 2025 coming on the market. So that's pretty interesting for us. Over.
Okay. Yeah. The military, a lot of the,
John,
the,
Yeah.
questions
the
bouncing around your head.
the non-military people didn't catch that over.
Have you considered exploring the one that I shared with you, Adam? The other market?
I have. We put some generic numbers together for what we think the UAE market looks like. I still kind of want to do additional research, and then we are getting ready.
Awesome. Yeah, and then I'll hook you up with a developer that I'm speaking with in there, and exploring the business globally.
Yeah. So we've just been networking and preparing for a lot of that stuff next week. So I'm not ignoring you, Faye. It's just I put it on the back burner as we prepare for next week, and then we'll be able to dive back into that and kind of have some numbers and a slide deck type of thing. So
No worries. I understand. No problem.
thanks.
Oh, yep.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Adam, what is the
that,
I know you were talking about the returns. Are you guys doing like active, I won't say active campaigning, but like for its investor pitches?
We have been right now. We've been hitting up kind of our pilot network of people and investors and stuff like that. We have not been actively campaigning broadly. One of the reasons for that is kind of a holdover of we were originally going to be targeting primarily active income this year. We don't think we've got kind of our stuff together so people can put those tax credits against their active income.
Okay.
So in the past 2-3 weeks, we've been looking at more of the passive stuff. So we haven't expanded out our kind of investor outreach for that. We've just kind of been focusing on pilots with passive income right now that own properties and stuff like that. We've got a few friends and that kind of stuff. But as we've seen a few more tax credits come on the market, at really very attractive rates and at low numbers. Like literally yesterday, my brother and I were talking. We're like, we need to be advertising this more because we might be able to make a killing this year faster than we had expected. Because some of those the smaller the credit, the wider the spread. Essentially, if you have like a $10 million credit, it's a very tight spread. But some of the smaller ones are very wide, ensuring that we can get that 10% return, essentially guarantee it on closing, type of thing. So yeah, that's what we're working on right now. But
and what's the
go ahead.
And I was going to ask what the duration of the investment is.
It's like one tax year. So right now you can buy credits for 24 and 25. We are looking at some of the 24 tax credits, and then also 25. Now the 24s are like my brother and I personally, we have delayed filing our tax returns so we can utilize those 24 returns. What we don't have an answer for yet is if we buy excess on 24, how do we apply that to a new investor in 25 if they don't want to redo their tax returns and stuff like that. But there's still some 25 tax returns. And what that means is very round numbers. Someone cuts a check for whether it's 10 grand or 100 grand. When everything closes, we then send them a K1 that essentially has either 11 grand or 110 grand in tax credits attached to that. And what we're trying to do this is both bundling and then spreading the risk. So if we can buy a few tax credits, but then put money from each investor into some of those tax credits, and then layer them up. So if there's a tax credit for $100,000, and you've only got $5,000 of passive taxable income, you would not want to buy that whole $100,000 tax on your own. But we can bring all the investors in to then buy that $100,000 tax credit in this example type of thing.
Gotcha. Okay, and then you can allocate it kind of pro rata based off their contribution. Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's definitely powerful for the right person that has a tax problem, that's looking at that, with looking at how they can bring in those tax credits and how it can impact it.
Yeah. We don't use the term tax problem. We just do you have passive taxable income? Yes. Okay. Would you like a 10%, cut on that? Yes. Okay. Now here's how it's going to work. Are you interested? And we've had pretty positive responses so far.
Nice.
No, that's great stuff. No, I look forward to kind of, once you guys kind of get everything together on the passive side, the passive investor piece, that I think is definitely powerful because everybody's looking to save money on taxes. At least they should be.
They should be. Don't we all? That's we really want to go after the active income piece because that's such a game changer. We've got a very rough plan put together for how to do that. And like I said, I think we're gonna be able to go live with that in 26. Just assuming legislation which enables it today stays in place, and that's nobody knows.
Yeah,
given the current administration.
That's the wild card. But that's powerful. If you can start doing that and wipe out active income, that's everybody. Yeah, that impacts everybody. Even opens the aperture completely open. So
yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, so that's where we're at. That's in the last week or so. And obviously, once we do start moving those passive credits here, I'll I'll put some slides together and explain it here as well to the group.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Yep.
Is 10% the going rate, Adam?
That is what we are advertising and what we are what we're setting aside. Now, the spread is wider than that, but we want to capture the excess part of that spread as essentially insurance in case something goes wrong for our first year. And then as we buy more tax credits, we think the market's going to become more liquid. We'll have a better view of kind of where those tax credits are. And we think we'll be able to expand the returns for the investors. It's just that our thought right now is 10% return advertised. And if something goes wrong, we will have extra cash on the sidelines to help figure out how to make investors whole if something does go wrong or if something weird happens with legislation and stuff like that. So we're putting that money aside for legal fees, accountants, etc. So we are overpaying on essentially financial services this year to ensure that 10% is safe. And then once you know more about it, hopefully expanding the returns next year. Does that answer your question, Joel?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just wondered, were your competitors offering any better returns than that?
So it's very much like and I haven't thought about a good analogy for this. Somebody use a bad analogy. It's very much like a used car market in that it is not a commoditized environment yet. And there's a lot of, well, it's like real estate. Every house is a little different. The interior is different. The pipes are different, all that kind of stuff. There are some that will, that you could, if you went directly to Engage, you could buy a tax credit for a smaller return. There are, I know some people that you can get a better return on. But what we're trying to do is build a repeatable system that can go search the market for a lot of people, a lot of sellers, and be able to spread that risk. So, Joel, if you were to approach a single seller right now, you would have to, and you found better rates, which is out there, I'll admit. You would probably have to buy like the entire tax credit, even if that is not the right size tax credit for you, and it would be on a single property. Whereas what we're trying to do is, like I said, spread the investment out across multiple properties and then make sure you don't have to overbuy type of thing.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Thank you.
No problem.
Feels so good to be surrounded by smart people.
We're trying. Yeah, I'm here to contribute and I'm here to learn,
See,
Awesome.
iron sharpens iron. Yeah. No, I think this has been great this morning, and I appreciate everybody coming out and sharing.
Excuse me. Yeah,
Yeah.
Johnny.
Hey, Jay.
Can I speak?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. I have one thought. Like I sent the opportunity to Faye, and I've been wondering, uh, is is it possible to have a private lender for this specific scenario? Like, suppose there is a vacant land under entitlement, which is going to happen in next uh, 30, around 60 days or so, 60 to 90 days. And the seller, because of his family situation, they want to sell it before entitlement is completed. And if I were to acquire at 1/3 the price and having it seller financed, and looking for 10% down, can I borrow 10% of 1/3, which is 3% of 3% of the current appraised value. Is it possible to get financing based on that? And the idea behind this is um, after entitlement, um, uh, the individual zoned lot can be um, disposed, or maybe an LPGP structure can be done, and we can invite investor partners for development or so. So those were the two thoughts on that.
I think
Hey,
definitely.
you saw that opportunity, right, Faye?
Yep, I did. There's just some, some details that's actually a lot, quite a lot to, to digest when it comes to like land and everything. But the first thing that comes to mind actually when I'm looking at it is um, an approach that I could think of is actually put it up out there to get some partnership with an actual developer, because it's a piece of land. Like, one thing you want to do is you want to make sure that there's going to be some cash flow coming in after that one. And so I was thinking the strategy, or one of the strategies that you can go for is like instead of finding the investors, finding an actual developer to build something in there where you could talk and negotiate on how you could, work this out and things like that. And then do an off plan series. Off plan series, meaning you're already selling the units and everything prior to, while waiting or while building it. So that way there's already money coming in to support the actual build. And also, you don't have to look for the entire capital to be able to get started on the project. And you're already anticipating that by the end of this year or whatnot, there's already turnovers of the units that you're going to be building out there. That's one. That's why, it's taking some time for me to review it, because for one, you'll also have to review the zoning and what you plan on building in there. That's going to affect how you're going to be projecting the income for that project. But if you are like reselling it or wholesaling it, that would be a different story. Like that, I mean, that would be, finding the investor to purchase it and then just reassigning the contract.
Yeah, and after entitlement, can it be refinanced? After entitlement, can we refinance the lot?
I am not sure about that.
You can, but it would require the right lender. And probably you would have to provide more equity that the loan to value for the loan, depending on the entitlement and kind of if you have plans for the development and have a tentative appraisal of what the long-term plans will be, you could potentially use the land for collateral if you have an appraisal where you're showing that it's worth substantially more than what you're paying for it. But it definitely would be the right lender, just because a lot of times with land is speculative and it's not producing income. And so that's one thing. It definitely had to be the right lender and relationship.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll message you, Jay, in school. I'll connect you with someone that may be able to help us on the lending side, on the private lending.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Someone comes to mind. Awesome. Okay.
Okay. Well, no.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say, just thank everybody for coming out this morning, and yeah, great conversation. Salute to Sean and Christine and Dr. Joel, and and everybody that's making moves out here, Adam and Earl. Good morning, Hannah. We didn't get a chance to chat with Hannah this morning. And Jay, so salute to everybody that's out here making deals happen, that's getting things under contract, and doing their due diligence and doing the work, because that's truly how deals are made and how wealth is built, one opportunity at a time. So most definitely look forward to connecting with everyone next week. Have a great rest of this week, and you guys know how to find us in school, and look forward to continuing the conversation.
Yes. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you again next week. And as always, thanks for, drinking your coffee or tea with us.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Let's go.
All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
Bye, guys.